All right, what's up, fellow shitheads, and welcome to another episode of Tribeoholics here. I think this is episode 10, Marshall. So this is some exciting news here. You know, back at it again with your boys, Marshall Maxwell at MarshMax underscore on Twitter. Say what's up to the people.
It's been a while. It's been a few weeks since it just hasn't worked out the past couple weeks for me to not be on here. So I heard Joe filled in pretty well last time. So
Oh
excited to be
yeah,
back.
I forgot.
Yeah, we need to get Joe in here again, I guess.
Yeah, Joe.
I get tired of talking to your ass, man.
I don't blame you. I get tired of talking to me too. Yeah, Joe filled in admirably, man. He was a great special, host there. Filling in for you last week, and I know you had some things going on. And it looks like you had a good time and everything like that. So, glad to have you back though. And it looks like you were able to avoid the shit show that was our game against Louisville this past weekend. So, how did the Lynx treat you? Because I know our Florida State team didn't treat you too well.
I was playing a charity golf tournament, 4-man scramble, beautiful morning, sun crested over the orange groves. It was awesome. Felt great. Shot out of my mind. Noon came around. I turned the game on. Excited to see the Knowles get another victory. And before I know it, it's 21-7, and I threw my phone in the golf cart and said, "Fuck anything happened today." So I didn't watch the game too much. But
Done watching that shit. Huh?
yeah, I know our wide receivers and defense shit the bed. So nothing too new. The wide receivers, that's kind of disappointing. But it's okay. We got a bye week, baby. It's bye week. Happy
I
bye
didn't
week.
expect that out of her. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. No need to hop on it now and everything. So we'll just get into the nitty gritty and what's ultimately important on this show, and that's what everybody's drinking this tonight. Nice Thursday night. Tomorrow is Friday, so it's almost Friday. Friday beers, great follow by the way. Quick shout out on for the IG. Marshall's wearing his cowboy hat, so he's ready for Friday. You can tell that right now. So what are you drinking tonight, Marsh?
We were going to do the show Tuesday night, and I realized I was in the store deciding what to get. I've drank many a beer in my lifetime. I realized I've never had a Modelo. And I'll tell you what, it's my new favorite beer. So I'm sipping on Modelo tonight.
Modelo, a cerveza.
Cerveza.
Great beer. Love a Modelo. I'd actually choose one over a Corona.
I think I would too now.
I think they're pretty good. Very tasty. Not too bitter. Corona tastes. Sometimes you get that bitter unless you're like on the beach. But
no
great beer.
So I went to a local place that serves some like local craft beer yesterday in Plant City. Then I had a stout called a Basic Bitch. Let me tell you, buddy, that was some good stuff. I'm looking for that on the shelves now.
It's called Basic Bitch?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Was it a stout, you said?
It's a stout, yeah. Dark as shit.
Oh, good. Just the way yeah. But yeah, I am drinking a Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze IPA. Voodoo Ranger, the regular is pretty one of my favorite beers that I drink. It's not too expensive like normal IPAs or anything like that. You can get a 12-pack for like $14. It's like normal 12-pack prices for light beers. So great stuff. The Juicy Haze IPA is just a little bit better. Gives you a little more hazy feel, a little bit more citrusy flavor there. It's great stuff. It's also got 0.5% higher alcohol percentage there. So you can't lose when it comes to something like that. You get the best of both worlds.
We like those.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of these?
No, I haven't. Now I want to.
Head over to your local Publix. I know Polk County's got them.
Oh, a great array of brewskis. We love our beer down here.
Absolutely. But we'll move on from what everybody actually cared about into what people probably don't give a two shits about. And that is going to be.
Can I say something?
What? Go ahead.
I feel like our fan base does not realize that we are absolute shit and no one gives a shit anymore. We're just going to see what happens. Like, we're just along for the ride now. We have no expectations anymore.
Yeah. So if you were a fan in the beginning of the season, I don't know how you're going to be a fan now because this show might just turn straight satire and we're just going to, totally just blow it out of the water and just, it is what it's gonna be. And you know what? Fuck the people who don't like it, and fuck the players who don't live up to the expectation that you're supposed to play at Florida State. So that's where we're at now when it comes to our Florida State Seminoles, and I don't have a problem saying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you actually missed the game, or you saw a score and then said, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna watch this anymore." But
Yeah.
I was
How am I supposed to chip with that going on, Doug? Like, come on.
fuck it, dude. Yeah, not even worth it. But yeah, so I barely got to watch any of it. I was driving through BFE, Bumfuck Egypt, Georgia, on my way up to get my girlfriend's new puppy this weekend in Atlanta. So I was in and out of service. It would go from like 4 bars all the way powerful straight down to 0 and no service at all. So it would go like I've got HD 1080p quality to it just shutting off. Like that's where I was at. I was having to find some like illegal stream on, like crack streams or something like that to watch the game in the first place because they had it on some stupid what it was ESPN 3, so you had to have ESPN Plus to watch
Hey man, you got
fucking
you got
10
you got
$15 for ESPN Plus, but
you got AirPods. You're not poor.
first gen AirPods.
I don't know where my earphones are. I've been running every day just in silence.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I would kill myself.
I kind of like it. It's kind
But
of
yeah, really? Fuck no, dude. I hearing myself breathe, it just sounds like shit. It's like hearing myself talk on this podcast. It
yeah.
just sound fucking awful.
I've been running my ass off, man. I'm getting fucking slim. Look at me.
Slim down.
I needed it, man. I was getting that
But
beer belly. Can't do it. Can't do it.
yeah,
And
I'm
now
slowly starting to notice that.
you're looking like bird dog soon.
Yeah, shit. Well, if our fucking players don't get their shit together, they better start drinking some beer and getting some beer bellies and start working at the Enterprise down the street because a lot of them might not make it now. Just took a 48-16 ass whooping from a 1-4 Louisville football team. Just little quick
Athletic.
hitters. What, Marshall?
Said athletic football team, like for real. Like their record doesn't reflect accurately. They kept Notre Dame in a very tight game, but come on, like we just beat North Carolina. We could have. We just didn't come to play.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're living off of momentum, and then there's no want to outside of that momentum, and then whenever there is no momentum, everything just goes to fucking shit. Like it's just like how it has been for the past few years. It's just one bad thing happens and then it's just a fucking snowball effect. But like we've seen the instances where it hasn't been that way. I mean, North Carolina, they were throwing haymakers like late in the game and we were standing up to it and everything. But we don't see that balance. Like you can like against Notre Dame, it was more consistent than it was, making the explosive play. And then North Carolina is making the explosive play without the consistency. So those are two things that we need to kind of get figured out. And I mean, the coaches have even mentioned that in their press conferences. I know Kenny Dillingham, especially, has harped on that numerous times. But I mean, when you lose to a Louisville Cardinal team, who is probably just about as good as you talent wise, coaching wise, I think they're pretty even too when it comes to Scott Satterfield and Mike Norvell. Maybe give the edge a little bit to Scott Satterfield just because of what he's been able to do over the course of his career. He's just been around a little bit longer than Mike on the scene. But in terms of like talent on the field, no way. It's even there. I mean, we have supposedly 5 stars all around on the defense side of the ball. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's not the case anymore. They don't play like they're 5 stars. They fucking suck. They don't play with any urgency at all. They could all screw off at this point. There's been talk. I'm not going to mention like names, but there's a lot of attrition that might be, falling out from this football team either later in this season or after the season, depending on what players. I can't tell you that specifically, but there's a lot of names being thrown around and of that nature. Honestly, I don't get them the hell out, man. Me and you have been saying this day, like nightly or every single podcast we're on. It's just if you don't care to fucking be here, you don't care to put in the effort or work or buy into what Mike Norvell is coaching, then you can get the fuck off our team.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes with the territory when you're trying to change. We're trying to change our culture completely. We were in a bad spot, and Norvell's coming here. How many players have we lost already? Either they left or got dismissed.
I can't tell you specific numbers, but I mean, there's big ones that have already left, and I mean, DJ Matthews and Kalen Laybourne are the names that have automatically come to mind for those of you keeping count at home.
Yeah, and it could get worse before it gets better, but we have to go through this to get to where we want to go. We have to just cut out the junk. You know what I mean? I don't mean to call anyone junk, but that's what you got to do.
Ultimately, you could call it much worse than that if you wanted to, and I would not judge you at all because honestly, I know if you and I were put on that field, I know I'm not the biggest fucking dude, but I would at least give it my all, I would at least give a shit and give a damn about playing or trying to make an effort to come back. It just looks so, I don't know, lazy in terms of not necessarily lazy on the field, but lazy in terms of making the right play and trusting the guys around you. And that's what frustrates me the most.
That spear on your helmet, maybe not as of late, but it holds a lot of weight. A lot of people, you're standing on the shoulders of giants, and you got to live up to it. And as of late, they're just letting the uniform define them, just being there for this. They play Florida State, and they don't how do I say this? It's all they care about is they wear the uniform instead of trying to live up to what that uniform means. You know what I mean?
They want they want the royalties kind of giving to them without living up to the expectation of earning those royalties.
Yeah, you put some pep in your step, man. Light a fire under your ass. This is Florida State. It still is Florida State. I love her to death. Till the battle's in, she's great, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We know what we are. You and I can understand. Tons of other fans can understand. It's just why can't these players, kind of understand the same thing, and they can, just understand that it's bigger than just you play for Florida State and you're automatically thinking you're going to go into the NFL because you play at Florida State. You were a 5-star in high school. Big fucking whoop, dude. It doesn't matter. I'd rather take a 2 or 3-star right now who gives a damn about playing at Florida State and wants to earn those reps and wants to earn his way into the league than any of these guys. I mean, I went and I'm specifically talking about the defense here. The offense and other than the wide receivers right now, and I think the wide receivers can figure it out. But specifically speaking of defense, I mean, I just talked about it the other day of how we're ranked right now. And this was even before the Louisville game. So our rankings probably got even worse because not only that, but the Big Ten just entered the fold too. So these were our defensive ranks before the Big Ten entered and before the Louisville game. So we were 68th out of 79 FBS teams overall, defense-wise. So there's only 11 teams that are worse than us on defense as a whole. And this is before Louisville, okay? I'm just gonna keep saying that. 62nd in sacks, 53rd in passing efficiency defense, 54th in scoring defense, and 60th in rushing defense.
It's piss poor.
That is the bottom. That is the bottom quartile of the defensive rankings in all of FBS Division I football. That is piss fucking poor for a Florida State team. Not only a Florida State team, but a Florida State defense who is predecessed on being a top defense year in, year out.
Do you think Fuller has anything to do with that? Because I know even at Memphis, their defense gave up a lot of yards, but it was a bend don't break mentality, So
right.
Do you think it's his scheme, or do you think it's the players not buying in and not wanting and not learning enough? Because what I see is alignment issues, just simple alignment. Against Notre Dame, there was 2 guys on the left side, and they just run to the left, and there's a 70-yard run for a touchdown.
Right.
It's just little mental things like that. It's all mental because like we have freaks on that side of the ball, and it's just I don't know. Like you have to prepare if you really want to be good at football. It happens in the film room. You have to study. You have to study your assignments, your plays, and if you don't care as much as you should, and you're not going to do that. And you get out there, and you're kind of lost sometimes, and that's when big plays happen when you have a bust. You look at the best players. Ray Lewis said the only reason he watched film is so he can be in the position to make the play. He said, I know I can make the play, but I just got to put myself in position to make the play. And to do that, I have to know where to be at all times. And we're not doing that at all.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that we're not fucking doing that. And I mean, that's a great quote by Ray Lewis because ultimately, any of these guys know they have the ability to make the play, right?
Mhm.
But when you overemphasize your talent and your pure athleticism over, your fundamentals and technique and the scheme you're being put into play, and if you're overconfident in your just own ability as a player, then it's not going to work out for you. You got to stick to what you're being taught first off before you go and make the play. It takes both to be able to make the right play and make the correct play and the play that comes out as a success in your end of things. But before you even get to the part where you show your true ability, you got to be able to be there, And if you can't be there, then it's not going to happen. So, I mean, that's the player aspect of things. But don't get me wrong. I see it. You asked originally that it was about, like if I had to choose one or the other, who would I put more of a blame on per se, right? So I ultimately place it on both. I don't think there's one or the other that you could say it's more on. If I had to take a lean to who I would put more of the blame on, it would be the players. Just because it's not necessarily their fault. There was, short off season, but we gotta get through that point now because we're 6 games in, you can't put that blame on them or use that as an excuse anymore for these players. They're just not getting it. Either that or we're trying to run too many multiples. But I mean, at the end of the day, that shouldn't be an issue either. So like if you're that type of elite player that you say you are, or that you're built up to be, then you should be able to do it. But on the other side of things, when it comes to the coaching, I think Adam Fuller and Chris Mark, because I love him and I love his energy and I love the type of um, coach he is with that linebacker group. He's transformed it from what Raymond Woody had it at, which was complete ass. You couldn't expect anything else from a Raymond Woody linebacker. He was there for recruiting. Okay, let's not get it wrong. But yeah, I love Chris Marv, but at some point you got to speak up to Adam Fuller and be like, "Yo, stop putting my linebackers in these shitty fucking schematic positions for these, you to Atwells and all these fucking slot guys to burn them. Why are you throwing my linebackers in coverage? And not only my linebacker, you can put a linebacker in coverage, but it better fucking be Amari Gainer, somebody who can keep up with, a slot guy in a 5-yard route. Not fucking Emmett Rice. Like, I get Emmett Rice is quick, but he doesn't move with these guys. He doesn't have the athleticism. He might have the speed, but he doesn't have the athleticism. So you can have straight end speed, right? You know what I'm talking about, Marshall. You can have straight end speed, but when it comes to athleticism, you got to move your hips in certain directions and be able to move with a wide receiver. It's totally different in terms of athleticism versus speed. So you can have the speed, but you don't have the speed in quotation marks. I use that because you don't have the speed to keep up with them on the field in the terms of play. So
Yeah.
I put that on coaching, and you can't keep continuously put your guys in terrible matchup situations when it's gonna burn your ass real quick, as long as the offense makes the right play. And that's the thing when it came to North Carolina. North Carolina didn't make the right play because there's plenty of times they probably could have, but it didn't happen because Sam Howell he was, just in that Sam Howell mind zone that he was just gonna, burn everything up, but it didn't happen. So that kind of helped us out in that game. But we saw it in this game because Louisville was like, you know what? There's all these weaknesses, and North Carolina didn't see it, but we are, and they fucking excelled at it, and they every third down, it seemed like they were hitting it.
Yeah. Football between the tackles and football in space are two totally different games, And linebackers are asked to do a lot. because they're kind of the middleman between the secondary and the front line. They're linebacker. Like, that's what you do. And they're not going to make all those plays. Regarding the coaching, like, my thing is, like, I'm sure when Fuller's talking about the plays on the board, every play is designed to work, like, in theory, every play is designed to work. But there's this, I remember back when I used to play in the film room, there's this connect to be on the same page with your coach, and you have to trust in that scheme. I'd be like, I don't know if that's going to work. But you have to trust that scheme, and it's just I feel like there's a disconnect there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's a
I
new
mean,
coach.
that's kind of what I was hitting on too.
Yeah, there's a new coaching staff. I know it's tough, but you're right. We're 6 games in. We gotta start getting on the same page here. You know what I mean? And our players have to study and trust what we're trying to do, and just get in a position, and then don't think. Just go make the play. Run hard to the ball wherever it's at, and put your fucking shoulder in his gut, and drive your feet, and do your thing. That's what you're supposed to do. It's not that hard. We make it out to be such a complicated, hard thing. Football's not a hard
We make it look difficult. Like, our defense makes it look difficult just to do the simplest things. And we haven't even talked about tackling yet. Like, that's it. Like, and we just don't tackle. Like, arm tackle, cool, but like, you don't tackle. You let a guy get 6 yards when it should have been a loss for -2. It's just it doesn't happen. And I mean, we could speak probably for the whole fucking podcast about what this defense needs to do and what they don't do.
Mm-hmm. My coach used to tell me, when you tackle, step on the grenade. When you you stomp your foot right before you hit, and it's like you blow up into him. And we're just over here like
Fall.
hula dancing over here. Like, come on, man.
Please fall. Please fall.
God, I used to want to hit people. Like, I want to embarrass people.
Yeah, right. And we don't have. We call them dogs, right? Like, dogs. Like, you want some.
Let me clarify something. That was me in high school. This is a different animal. I could not do this in their league, but it's all relative. That's how it is to them still. So it's relative.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what we're missing the dogs on this team.
Yeah.
We're missing the dogs. Like, we thought we had a dog in Marvin Wilson. Turns out, not a dog. Like, dude's not a dog. Like, he's just not. We got one dog maybe on that defense right now, and that's Asante Samuel. And even he didn't even have a great day, on the defense.
He didn't show up. Long travel, weird atmosphere. No one's there. That stadium has owned us the past few times.
Do you want to speak on these all-white jerseys and why the fuck we always get blown out in them?
Yeah, we need to get white on gold, please. White on gold. I miss Jimbo. I used to wish Jimbo would shake it up sometimes. But looking back, I miss that. I just garnet and gold, white and gold. Garnet and gold, white and gold. We played Chattanooga at home. Yeah, we're black. 75. All right. Like, it just takes away the guessing out of it, and all the fans get riled up about it and think it's the uniforms that make the difference. But I don't know. I'm kind of superstitious, but when it comes to uniforms, I don't think it really matters too much. But
I mean, it honestly doesn't.
Our uniforms look good regardless. They're amazing. Like, it doesn't matter. You look good. Who gives a shit? All right, go for it.
Like, old Deion Sanders quote, dude. You look good, you feel good, you play good, and you win good. But
and he wore garnet and gold every Saturday.
Only thing we do is look good. The rest of it, we look like play like shit, win like shit, lose like shit.
It's not as bad as Taggart. At least, like, in the past, like in the 90s, we would wear all white. Taggart would be wearing like the red, black, and garnet, like, shake it up so much. And I'm just like,
God,
please don't. Please.
Oh, God.
Last time we beat Louisville was in Louisville was with Taggart. We're wearing the red, white, and garnet.
Garnet.
Yeah, it was weird. I felt like I wasn't watching Florida State.
And then everybody wants to go on and say, well, Taggart beat this team twice. Blah, 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 blah. Mike didn't beat him. He got blown out.
They had a more talented team.
Not only that, dude, but Louisville's wasn't what they are like this year at all. I mean, this Louisville team is much better. Cunningham's had years underneath him. He's a pretty good quarterback. Javian Hawkins is an absolute animal. Obviously, tore us the fuck up for 174 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, dude's good. Tutu Atwell, obviously, led the ACC in reception yards and reception touchdowns last year as a sophomore. So this Louisville team is nothing to joke around with.
Yeah, they're athletic.
They got dudes. So
athletic football team.
Hear that? Tutu Atwell had 3 catches, bro. 3 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Averaged 43 yards a catch.
That's embarrassing. Was that Asante on him?
I don't think so. I think one of them was Emmett Rice. I think one was what's his name? Dude with the dreads who didn't play last year. Travis J. Travis J was another one. I think that was on him.
Yeah, of course.
He looked like a complete bomb this game.
He'll get it. He'll get it together. He's a freak. We just got to
get it back.
Yeah, I'm glad.
There you go. Logan says Brownlee was on him a few times and got 8 alive. I'm pretty sure that was the first touchdown where Brownlee was on him and got eaten alive for that first touchdown that he had.
Hey Logan, you like my cowboy hat? I'm gonna wait for him to respond. All right, yeah.
He's just gonna tell you to join the Discord and become a chief. He roped me into it the other day.
Thank you, sir.
Loves it.
That means a lot from you. Heck yeah. I might have made this my trademark. I'll do it every show.
Bring it on. I've got Justin. Is it Justin? Or what do they call your hat?
The hat? I don't know.
What brand is it?
Twister.
I don't know. I mean, I gotta see what mine is. Mine's behind me. I can grab it.
Sean freaking Stammel has my other one in Tallahassee. You're giving a speech? For what?
He's not gonna have a problem with it. Tell him to drink a couple of natty ices and he's good to go.
Yeah, Logan was live last week, and I put in the question. I was like, "Are you drinking natty ice?" And he showed everyone watching his whole wall of natty ice. It was so funny.
He's very proud of it.
He is very proud of it. I thought he was going to be like, "Screw you, Marshall," but he showed the people. Hey, let's go. That's a very similar hat. All right. You'll kill it.
I don't even know what mine is.
It's literally what you do for a living, Logan. You're going to kill that speech.
Yeah, it'll be fine. BS on sports marketing and social media. Wow. That couldn't be any more easy for you, Logan. It's exactly what you do.
Just talk about just go through your Tuesday routine, and it'll be good.
All right, let's switch over. We'll stop talking shit about the defense here. Let's switch over to the offensive side of the ball. Could have been better. Travis, you pointed this out to me. So do we. I'll cheers you through the screen. But you were talking about this earlier, Marshall, and that's that Travis looks like he has been, kind of playing a little bit injured.
Yeah, that shoulder's bothering him a lot. The few plays I saw, he wasn't leaning into his runs. He was kind of scampering out of bounds, and when he first came in, I was scared about it because he would just lean in, dive for the first down, take on the guy coming at him, hitting him. I was like, he's going to get hurt. And sure enough, his shoulder's banged up, and it looked like it was. But I think the coaches are kind of telling him to take it easy too. But we kind of need that, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I
don't want to put him at risk, but we kind of need you. We need everything we can get.
We need him. He didn't throw the ball particularly well. 1432, less than 50% of his passes, 141 yards, one touchdown, one pick. So, I mean, he didn't make any like glaring mistakes per se, but it was just he wasn't helped by his wide receivers. I'm sure he could have had probably about, yeah, he could have probably had, he probably would have wanted to have about maybe 4 to 6 throws back. I would think that were he probably could have made that he didn't after looking back at the film. He could have. There's one where he overthrew Cam McDonald, and it was like Cam McDonald had plenty of room to be able to catch it on the sidelines and had enough separation from a corner or safety there as well, and he just overshot him. And it's just those little things that you start to notice. Like, it might not be 100% because usually Jordan has a pretty good accurate arm. At least that we've seen so far. He's underthrown guys, if anything. He hasn't overthrown anybody, and that's what we saw a lot of. Not a lot of, but sparingly throughout this game. And then, so obviously we all know Jordan's going to be, just here a pit stop before we get rolling quarterbacks. We saw one of these, future quarterbacks play a little bit here. So, what do you think? I know you didn't get to see a lot of the game or anything, but Chuba, 0 for 9, had about 4 or 5 drops from his wide receivers when he was in. Keyshawn dropped a key touchdown from him, or not a key touchdown, but a touchdown that would have been late for Purdy. And just, based off that, he took a real big shot in the pocket too at one point. So got up from it, So I mean, that means that coming off that shoulder injury, that's good for him.
I'll let you answer that. Yeah, I mean, we didn't get to see Chuba get in the rhythm, because of the wide receivers. He was kind of playing in shit time, so I want to see him get a drive and get in a rhythm and see how he handles that. I still have high hopes for him. The kid's a baller, but I need to see him again soon. I'm glad he got some playing time.
Yeah, I'll go back to Alex here. Alex, if I were you, I'd take unless we get some commitments or anything, recruits. If Florida State can get some recruits, then you can cover that spread pretty easily. But at this point, if you don't get anything this week and nothing is in terms of making an upward trajectory in terms of positivity for the football team in the future, and Bob's going to win this one pretty heavily. So, but honestly, though, we might still cover because we're getting guys healthy, and we just spoke on Travis getting healthy, and that's a big thing. Having this week off becomes at the perfect time, in my opinion, to end out and round out the rest of the season. I know you got at least Clemson on the list that is going to be a blowout, or I mean, we could keep it close. Shit, who knows? Doubtful, but I'm not gonna make any predictions now. But
Syracuse did. Syracuse gave him a ball game. I did not expect that.
Halfway
47.
Yeah.
Well, God, I love the sport so much.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, isn't
it? Yeah. But a big piece of my life happiness and fulfillment comes from it. So, and these past few years I haven't felt the same. In North Carolina, we had a little taste of it, but
yeah, that was fun. I was at that game. That was a great time.
You're having a time. You're the picture of you and the fireworks. You just look so happy.
I was so excited. I was so happy. I felt like I was back in 2013. Like, yeah, we're back. Like, no, no, you're not. The reality came crashing down real fucking quick the next week.
The football gods just threw us a little bone. They saw us struggling, and now it's back to normal.
Yeah, dude. I hope Purdy. I hope he gets playing time the rest of the season. I mean, hopefully it's not in terms of a blowout, but I wouldn't mind seeing a little 2 quarterback action here between Purdy and Travis to close out the season. And I think this is the perfect time for a bye week too. And those be able to implement some of those rotations there. And obviously, teams are going to, key in on the run when Travis is in the game. But Travis has also shown that he can throw the deep ball. So if you want to take that deep shot, Travis can do it for you, and he's pretty accurate with it, as he has shown so far up to this point in the season. So that'll be interesting moving forward what we do in the quarterback room. So I expect Norvell and Dilly to get in that room, drop some sweet ass fucking plays for both of these guys to be in there, and just kind of run a script, and then just grow that script as the season progresses for the second half. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a real interesting thing.
I like Dillingham. I think he's figuring it out too. But he's like, at least the offense is getting on the same page, and we have an identity. That's huge. We haven't had that in a long time. Old Dilly, young guy, very young. He's like your age, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he might even be younger than me. He might be like a year younger than me, or a year older. I'm not sure. I'm 26, so he's either like 28 or like right at my age, or 25 or some crazy shit like that.
What if we
But,
what if we get together in the next couple of years and it's just Norvell and Dilly for like the next 40 years? That'd be sick.
shit, I'll take it, bro. Yeah, that's good. If that is the case in 4 years from now, that means we are good. We're a good football team again. If that's the case.
New dynasty.
Yeah. But looking at the other offensive, play here, running back room did great. 40 carries, 265 yards, 6.6 average. You spread the ball around. Toa had 76, Webb 74, Sean 61, Trav 47. Purdy even contributed with 8 yards himself. So running back room is pretty solid, and it's kind of been what we've seen all season, and what everybody the hype was surrounding them. So that's good to see. And here's the real big question mark though. Cameron McDonald is your leading receiver. Cameron McDonald, your leading receiver, with 48 yards, 2 catches.
Hey,
Ontario, go ahead.
National Tight End Day on Sunday, man. You gotta give to him.
Yeah, I guess so. But these wide receivers drop the ball, and that's figuratively and literally, no pun intended here. They dropped the ball.
It's a real knee slapper, Caleb. Yeah. Yeah, I miss Terry. Will Terry be back for Clemson?
All we know is Norvell said he'll be back soon. I don't know what fucking soon means.
I hate that shit, man. Just fucking tell him.
So,
It's okay.
well,
I'm sure they don't know either. He's got to get back.
that's all I know.
Yeah, no, I don't think they know either.
I'm sure. I'm sure he's a freak, dude. I'm sure he'll probably be back against Pitt, if I would imagine.
Pitt.
If he's not back against Pitt, he'll definitely be back for Clemson. I know it's a 4 to 6 week, timetable for that specific procedure or whatever, but just the freak that Terry is.
What was it? Like, what happened to his knee?
I'm not 100% sure, but it didn't seem too serious. It just seemed like something that needed to be, drained out and corrected in terms of for him to get his mobility to where it should be.
Yeah.
And so it does usually take, maybe about, it could be 3 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, depending on your healing process and how serious you take it or whatnot. But he looked to be moving fine on the sidelines and everything. So, he could be back, and this extra week here really helps him in terms of, getting back on the field as soon as he can. But
yeah, this bye week could not have come at a better time, because we get a good test against Pitt, and then what do you expect? Do you think as a player, coach going into Clemson, like what do you tell the team? Like, we're gonna go try to win this thing, or like, I don't know, because it's gonna be Clemson's just so stacked. Stacked.
Clemson coach, you always speak that. As a coach, you don't want to be like, hey guys, like, let's just fucking hang in there and just give them the best fight we possibly can. It might not happen, but you know what? We're gonna fucking do what we can. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck no, dude.
Oh no,
fuck no. What if you have that coach? If you have that coach as your head coach, he needs to be fired immediately.
Yeah. I want Norvell to be like, it's just you versus them versus us, man. They're just guys. Go out there and fucking punch them in the throat if you have to.
I mean, shit. Fucking bring up North Carolina. You remember when you beat the number 5 team in the country? Well, now you got the chance to beat the number 1 team in the fucking country. Are you up for it?
Play dirty, man. Punch low. You just muted yourself, dog. You just muted yourself.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. You were just ranting. It was silence.
Yeah, I'm saying. What I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by my shitty AirPods that I paid so much money for, was that if I was a head coach, I would be like, you know what? You remember when you beat the number 5 team in the fucking country? Well, now you have a chance to beat the number 1 team in the fucking country. If you're not ready for that shit, get the fuck out of my locker room. If you're not ready, get the fuck out. If you want to show up tonight, show up tonight. Like that's the type of mentality we need. And honestly, we need it every fucking week apparently because we don't even want to show up for Louisville.
When I was this is beside the point, but when I was very young, my sisters were in high school. I was the ball boy for the football team in my hometown, and we had this Catholic school rival. They're in our division, and we were always better than them, but they always just freaking. They would sharpen the buckles on their helmet, sharpen them sharp, and just cut us up. And they would, it was back and forth. They'd beat us. I'm not saying do that.
Snaps?
Yeah, like the snaps. They'd sharpen them, and they'd cut us up. And it wasn't like that. Wasn't horrible, but it was significant. And they'd always just get in our head. I'm not saying do that. But go out there and let them know. Let them know who you are. We're not playing around here.
Just show the fuck up, dude. Keyshawn Helton, there's no reason that you should have 0 catches.
This season?
0. No.
Not in the game?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know he had catches.
Not only that, but the first catch that you could have had, it would have gone for a touchdown if you would have just kept your eye on the ball instead of looking upfield. That one was what killed me. And then the one that Purdy threw to him at the end of the game. I was just like,
I think it was Norvell just said the receivers are looking for the big play and got away from their fundamentals. So they just not looking the ball in or what?
Yeah, everybody's taking their eye off trying to make a big play. It seemed like, and I mean, that's what the coaches were kind of saying. We need to get back to, doing the things we need to do instead of just trying to make a big play. And you look at the film, and that's exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to make a big play. If you fucking catch the ball in this offense, you're going to have the room to make the big play. You don't need to just try and do it. If you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to have that. Exactly. Fucking eyes in, to the ball, to your chest. That easy. It's just not fucking happening. And I don't know if that's because I don't know what the deal was. Because, I mean, even Tamorion's there. He's at the game. He's still there with you boys, but he's not on the field. So, but Keyshawn's supposed to be that dude too, And then he's the one who drops the 2 touchdown passes. Mm-hmm. And then you're at that point, all your other wide receivers are like, fuck, I gotta step up, and then they try and step up, and guess what? They do the same shit. It's Ontario Wilson, same thing. Hopefully Brian Robinson is gonna be back.
Did Warren do anything?
I'm sorry?
Did Warren Thompson do anything? I don't expect
Warren had 1 catch for 14 yards, but he's been banged up. He hasn't been healthy. I don't know what the deal is. It might be I don't even remember what it was. I heard it somewhere, but
he's never healthy. It's crazy.
He's been banged up, but he's been picking it up lately. So
North Carolina, he played well.
Yeah, he played great against North Carolina. So we just got to continue to go up and up. And I mean, Mike always preaches growth. We're growing. We're growing as a football team, and he's like, and Dilly said this too. He was like, I told you guys last week that we're getting better. Better doesn't correlate to great or correlate to being good
or win. You know?
He's like, we're getting better. He's like, we're continuously getting better, and we need to get better. He's like, look at the Georgia Tech game from the first game of the season. You're telling me from that game till now, you can't see that we are better, a better football team, and
Yeah.
we are. We are. We're a better football team. Like you can just see it overall. I mean, we might not see it in this last game because there was lapses on the football and then on the wide receivers when it came to the offense, but it's still a better team. We're still making some dumb penalties, but not the dumb penalties we were making at the beginning of the year. So
Yeah.
overall, I think it's a positive direction that we're heading in under the tutelage of Mike Norvell and staff, and that's a great sign.
It's more improvement I've seen in since Jimbo took over, probably. Because Jimbo, Bobby Bowden left, and we were pretty mediocre. Looking back, we were still pretty good,
Right?
relative
We're
to
better than we are now.
and then Jimbo took over, and it just started uptick. And we beat South Carolina. Oh shit! And then 2012.
Oklahoma.
2012 was a good season. We lost to Florida at home. It was a bummer, but good season. And then 2013 just all came together. And then
what years did we play Oklahoma the first year?
What?
What year was it we played Oklahoma the first game got smacked?
That was 2012 or 2011. 2011. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that was Jimbo. So I mean we got smacked by Oklahoma. Smacked. And then look at
when we played at Oklahoma.
No, when it was here.
No, we got smashed when we played there. When we played here, we almost beat them. Because EJ Manuel went out and Clinton Trigger came out and threw that fucking dime to Rashad Green, the GOAT. Rashad Green's the GOAT.
Okay, you're right. You're probably right.
We got smacked in 2010 by Oklahoma. Absolutely thwarted.
Yeah, I mean, you go through like that, and then you see 2 to 3 years later after that, and Jimbo's got a fucking natty.
Mm-hmm.
We can't overreact here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a plan.
I hope so.
Honestly, that plan comes down to hitting the transfer portal fucking hard.
Yeah. I'm happy to see these recruits on Twitter saying, to other recruits, let's go build a team. That's the type of mentality you want to have.
Yeah, was that Travis Hunter?
I think so, yeah. Let's go build a team. Anyone, if you're a 4 or 5 star, you can go to Alabama, Clemson, maybe start. And, or you can go somewhere and actually leave it better than you found it,
That would be huge. Bring it.
Mm.
So that'll move us into our players only meeting. Midway through the season. So what are your initial thoughts on us having or the team having a players only meeting halfway through the season?
I didn't even know that, but I would say that's a good thing. It was after Louisville?
Yeah.
All right. That's a good thing.
Why do you think it's a good thing?
I think it's a good I think they get together and say, guys, we can still make this a good season. We know we can do it. We just beat the number 5 fucking team in the country. Let's get our shit together and let's work our asses off and let's win some games. Let's do this. Are we doing this or not? Are we doing this or not? We say we want to do it. Maybe that's what they need,
Yeah.
Or maybe they're talking about frustrations they have within the program, or this. You got to iron the kinks out, man. I think that's a good thing. That can be positive.
I just don't know when's the last time I've seen a positive mid-season team meeting. I just can't think of when that has been, a positive note from anything, is when you have to have a mid-season team meeting, because that's just not going well. Not only that, but my big question was, and I have talked to a few people about this, has been when you have a mid-season meeting or a team meeting, or you have a team meeting, just, a team meeting as a whole, Who leads those? Your leaders, right? Like if you're in the NFL and you got leaders on every single team in the NFL, right?
Mhm.
But in college football, it's a lot more variance because there's so many more teams. So in my opinion, we don't have any fucking leaders on this team to be able to lead one of those meetings. Like
I'd say
everybody can say Marvin Wilson, but honestly, I don't even think guys aren't buying into him right now because he's not showing up and doing he's showing up and doing what he's supposed to do, but he's not replicating what he's speaking, in my
I
opinion, when
think,
it comes to the field. So how are we gonna have anybody in the complete leadership role that needs to be able to lead that be able to? And that's where my question comes into concern when it comes to this team only meeting.
yeah, Marvin definitely was probably one of the more outspoken ones. I'm sure Terry was there. I'm sure he spoke. Keyshawn. Do you have any old offensive linemen or anything?
Do you think you guys are taking responsibility for like their own, faults in this season, and then being like, hey, we got to get this shit right? Or are they just being like, hey, we just need to get this shit right? Because if they don't take like responsibility for their own shit that has happened this season, then it's not going to go anywhere. Because as a
Mhm.
leader, that's what you got to do, right? You got to take responsibility for your
Yeah,
own mishap throughout the season and what you're not doing to propel the team to be better.
yeah. I think I hope it's positive. You know,
I mean, I hope, yeah, I hope, but like, I just don't know if they're gonna be doing that. Like it's.
yeah. I mean, what else? What else would it be like? They're like, screw this. Like, let's just lose. No, I think they call.
It can still be a positive thing. It's just whether it resonates with the team as a whole, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And from what I hear, the team isn't even a team right now.
Yeah.
Like we still got the guys in there that are Willie guys. We still got the guys in there that are actually buying into Norvell. Like obviously that makes an impact on who's listening and who's not,
Mm-hmm.
right? In that locker room. So if you're not like if you got three different leaders up there and they're all none of them, I mean, Marvin was not a Willie guy. Terry wasn't a Willie guy. The only Willie guy I think is Helton, maybe, that you could put in a leadership role there, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
he was recruited by Willie, not Jimbo. Because Terry and Marv were both Jimbo guys, both recruited by Jimbo, both came here at Jimbo's last year and all of that. So I don't know if those guys are the ones that are leading it, but either way, those guys are probably gone at the end of this year because they're seniors anyways. But what kind of what kind of power do they hold over that locker room? Especially if you think about that too. If you think all these guys in the locker room are thinking, well, fuck, they're gone next year anyways. What the fuck do they care? You know, these are young guys we're thinking about. So they don't necessarily have the mindset that, a lot of other people do outside of, that thing and everything. So, just it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna take a little leave of absence here. I gotta go to
Yeah.
that.
I'll run it alone until Marshall gets back. So welcome to my crib. You guys can see my whole house is very, Florida State inspired. But yeah, going off that, if anybody wants to make a comment or anything in the chat, go ahead. But yeah, I just don't know where that's gonna take us. I think it'll be ultimately a more negative aspect, in terms of where we go for the rest of the season than it does a positive, just based off of who I see as, so-called leaders in the locker room. If that changes, but I don't think it is because nobody's going to challenge those guys. I know you got, I guess Jaden Woodby could probably speak up, but honestly, another guy like those other guys that we were speaking, before, that is just kind of, not living up to the hype or not playing the way he's supposed to be playing on the field. And it's hard to, correlate somebody as a leader for something that they don't, put on the field at the same time. So it's hard to do that as somebody in a locker room, as a young guy who's very impressionable. based off of, who you're around and everything like that. And then if you see a fault, then you automatically, withdraw yourself from those people. And they might be great leaders. And I think Marvin is a great leader. And I think some of these other guys are great leaders as well. Keyshawn Helton, very smart guy as well. Tamorion Terry, more of a, lead by example instead of lead by, talking type guy. So I think that's just going to be, where it comes from is, are these guys going to buy in, and who's going to emerge outside of those guys to be able to hype this team up? Because we're seeing a youth movement, and Florida State's not afraid to, press conferences and everything like that.
What if some of the younger guys called the meeting? What if Stephen Dix and all those guys said, "Hey, we're here. We're here to fucking drop."
Yeah, I just don't know if they would have the balls. I hate saying that, but I don't know if they would have the balls to do it. Because I know if I was a freshman and I've got like Marvin Wilson, Tamorion Terry,
Freshman now, it's their team.
It should be. And I don't know if that's if it did, if they were the ones to fucking come out and lead that, then we're gonna have a hell of a fucking second half of the season. But
I'll ask my my source. By the way, he's coming on next week, so that'll be fun. We'll get to it probably, but I don't know if I want to like, you don't want to tell the public about what's going on in the locker room. It's your locker room. But
yeah, we're not gonna break down locker room shit for you guys. We're just gonna have fun with a guy on the team.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we can get a couple hints from him, but that'll be it. We're not gonna poke him too hard.
Yeah, and you were talking about recruiting earlier, so we just sent out another commit or another another offer out to a linebacker who's not rated on 247, but John Lewis. Apparently, our QB Luke Altmaier is the one who sent that to Coach Mike Norvell, sent his tape to him. So you got your quarterback doing that. It's real hard to see, Luke leaving at this point if he's starting to recruit the guys.
Luke's here.
So
he ain't no Sam Howell, man. He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, that's a great sign on both, on both grounds there. So bringing in somebody that's very under the radar. We've seen, coaches in the past keep guys under the radar. For example, Ontario Wilson, very kept under the radar by Willie Staff. Told the high school coaches, hey, keep him under wraps. Don't put his shit out there to other coaches. Like, get him to Florida State. And then Tamorion Terry, same thing. Small school in fucking Georgia. Jimbo said the same thing. Keep him on the wraps, and that's what they did. And so, hopefully, that's what ends up happening with this kid and John Lewis, linebacker. He's a freak, dude. Just a absolute freak of nature. If you go and watch this film, guys, if you're listening to this right now, go check out John Lewis. John Lewis, linebacker for the class of 2021's film. Absolute freak of nature, dude. He's all around, just pure speed, athleticism, hard hitter, right there around the ball when you need him to be. And so it's amazing that there's so many guys that go, under recruited and everything, and everybody falls in love with stars. But there's so many kids out there that just come from small schools, don't get the recognition, don't go to, all these 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s or these like camps or anything that the universities hold, that you can really go out there and grab. And, that's some huge, progress in terms of where we're heading in terms of guys who we want on this team.
Yeah. I'm not a big believer. I mean, to the extent I am, but a huge believer in stars. It's all just exposure, There's a lot of kids, like you said, in small schools that just don't. I mean, there's a kid out there in Texas somewhere that he isn't going to drive to Dallas to go to this camp, and no one's going to see him,
Yeah.
But you can develop anyone into a 4 or 5 star, Like, I'm sure if I joined the program now and got with Coach Storms, he'd turn me into like maybe a 3-star,
Yeah.
And so it's just stars don't mean anything after high school. You get into the program, like you don't have a star by your name anymore. It's just what you do, And I feel like a lot of kids peak when they hit a 5-star. They peak, they think they're the shit. They peak there, and then there's a kid that maybe was a 2 or 3 that comes underneath, and he sees the future, and he has a vision, and he works hard, and he passes that kid, the rabbit in the hare.
Yeah, that's a great analogy in terms of what it is. I mean, ultimately, it is what it is. You don't need. I mean, obviously, you can take 4 or 5 stars and humble them, or they already come in, understanding that point for what I've got. I mean, look at where Dalvin Cook came from. Look at where fucking Derwin James came from. Look where, I mean, there's Timmy Jernigan. You can look at where all these dudes came from. I mean, Freddie Stevenson, where all these dudes came from, and it's not the best lifestyle. Like,
counting's not that bad, man. It's not that bad. Okay,
it's not that bad, but like where some of them come from is not the best of places. People, I know what you mean because
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
like that. I get it. It's not the worst place, but like me and you have both seen with our own eyes that it does not. It gets bad in some places. Like it's not good in some places, and a lot of these guys come from places like that, and like it's just it's they understand they've worked already to get to this point, but that's not the end for them. Like that's just the tip of the iceberg, and they got to get down to the nitty gritty bottom, and they got to figure out what they're worth because they've got to prove it to people that all have always doubted them their whole life. So we need those type of dudes back, like those type of guys who give a shit. Like,
and then
they
the
don't have
great
to be 4 or 5.
then the very few great programs like Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State can get those 4s and 5s, and they can implement that mentality into them. That's when you have something special. Is when you can get the most athletically capable kids and then train their mind to be that way. And then
Take them back to
and then and it sets them up for success. And it sets them up for success for their whole life. Like that's the goal. I mean, it's more than football, really. That's what college football is.
Ultimately, yeah, and I think that's something that our ex-coaching staff. I like to say that because I don't like to throw Willie under the bus, but fuck it.
Our ex-girlfriend, basically. Yeah.
That Willie's fucking coaching staff didn't do. It was like, oh yeah, you're this, and you're gonna be this, and this is what you're gonna do. That's not how you fucking run a fucking football program. I'm sorry, it's not how you do it. You don't tell a kid what they've come from and what they were doing in high school, and they're having fucking 4 or 5 touchdowns of fucking high school game, and they're gonna continue to do the same shit in college at Florida State. Not gonna fucking happen. I'll tell you that right away. It's not. It's just not gonna happen.
You could, but you gotta be that guy, and you have to work hard to be that guy.
Yeah, it's rare that you're that guy. It's rare that you come in. I mean, the most recent example of a guy that I can think of that shit, he didn't even do anything. Tate Martell, fucking thought he was the hot shit, dude, and now look at him.
I hate that dude, man. Everyone was so hyped about Tate Martell, and I was like, "This dude is trash. He's absolute trash."
Absolute trash. But guess what? He's always been told.
Yeah.
You're gonna be the next. You're gonna be the next. You're gonna be this. You're gonna be that. No, not gonna happen.
Just the other day, Deion Sanders on primetime, he said it best. He said that everyone that wants to be that guy won't be. It's the guy that doesn't say he wants to be that guy. It's the guy that wants to help the others around him, help lift other people around him. That's the guy that says he doesn't want to be the center of attention. And he gave a comparison between Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. As much as I don't like LeBron James went to LA and he's getting more assists than he's ever had. He's trying to help that team. And Kyrie left because he wanted to be that guy, and it didn't pan out for him. It's it shouldn't be about you and yourself. It has to be about everyone around you and how you can contribute to that greater cause, and that's something that we have to implement in our program.
And ultimately, when that happens, what do you see from it? Nothing but success. And I know you're a LeBron hater. That's why I love.
I'm not a LeBron hater. I appreciate what he does on the court, but I'm not going to get too far into it.
Extracurriculars for you. I get it.
It's okay.
I don't pay attention to that. But on the court, he's my dude.
I respect LeBron, man. He married his high school sweetheart. He's a great dad. Man, he's killing it out of life.
And dude, his mentality on things is just like you don't see that from a lot of dudes who especially grew up with no dad. I mean, dude had no father figure or anything like that, and he's just that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Like somebody who had really nothing growing up in Akron, Ohio, no dad, no father, and just worked and humbled himself into the type of person he is today. And look how successful he is.
It's rare. It's weird how life picks out those people. It's the people you don't expect, and you have to respect it. You have to. You have no choice. You don't have to like it. You have to respect it.
Yeah, exactly. But did you see the new APR rules that might be being put into effect?
No, I saw that on the doc, but
so the NCAA Division I Committee on Academics came out with a statement. And it reads, the Division I Committee on Academics is recommending the Division I Board of Directors suspend academic progress rate penalties, so APR penalties, for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Board of Directors will consider the recommendation during its video conference Wednesday. Obviously,
so you don't have to academic report for 2 years.
Early.
Caleb?
Cut somebody for unspecified reasons, it's not going to affect your APR, or it's not going to affect your scholarship count, as long as it's just you're not going to get a penalty. I'm not sure on the specifics yet because they haven't come out with the specifics, but it's not going to affect your APR. So if you start cutting dudes who just don't belong in the program or anything, it's kind of more of like works in a way similar to like NFL. Like you can cut a guy for like no reason in the NFL, right? Just because they're not living up to what they're supposed to live up to, or they're not playing well in training camp or anything like that. And so that's where I saw that, and I was like, the attrition that's about to go on at our school because of this 2-year window that we have to get rid of the kids that don't need to be on our team anymore, and for Mike to make his team what he wants to make his team, that is huge for us. That is absolutely huge for us in terms of a year. We're in a year 0. It might be a year -1. Shit, at this point, it's already 8 months in. So the fact that we're getting the possibility of getting that, which I think it's probably most likely going to pass. I don't understand why anybody would say no to that, because it'll probably benefit teams like us more so than the upper echelon teams. But I think it's a great thing, dude. That like getting rid of the APR penalties, like you're not taking a hit on your academics. So that Jimbo's APR was barely above where passing limit, and then Willie brought it up. One thing he did fucking do was make sure the kids went to class, but getting rid of these kids without any penalty, whether it's not even only just APR, it's suspension too. So it's not just based off of academic results, it's based off suspension. So one mistake and you could be gone. There's no more just like 1 strike this, 2 strike this, 3 strikes you're out. It's more of like, hey, you fuck up, you're out. So these kids are going to have to be a lot more not only responsible, but accountable to each other in terms of what they do off the field.
I like that. That'll be interesting, to say the least. I love chaos,
Oh yeah.
Let's bring on the chaos. If we're not in college football, if we're not winning, and I was cheering for Miami to beat Clemson. I just want straight chaos, as much as I hate Miami. And they got their ass beat.
Dumb.
I also love that. I didn't care.
Yep.
Shit, let's see it. Notre Dame win the ACC, so I don't give a shit. Trevor Lawrence has COVID. What? Man.
Are you happy or what?
I'm not happy. T-Law is a good kid, good guy, but like
You sounded like you were happy. You sounded like you were
I
happy.
love chaos. I love chaos. I want his backup's supposed to be better than him. Maybe what if he's not? What if they go out and lose to Boston College, and Notre Dame goes and beats them, and Notre Dame takes it to the house, to the crib, and wins it all? And then I hope they stick around after that. It'd be the shittiest thing in the world if Notre Dame won the ACC championship and left. I'd be like,
If they
but
win, they gotta stay.
I said this earlier. I want Notre Dame to win so they get a false hope that they can dominate this conference. And then we come back, and Clemson's still there, and they finish third every year for the next 50 years.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be perfect.
It'd be amazing. We'd still play them every 4 years still because it'd be on the other side. But, like, we just beat them, and then they just, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. Honestly, I really want Notre Dame to join the conference. I think it'd be really good for the ACC. If we can't get them, let's let, like, UCF in or something, because if Notre Dame
Fucking do not.
that was just a shot off the dome. Okay, chill.
Okay.
If because there's only Notre Dame's in the ACC in every sport but football besides this year. If they leave again and become independent, there's 13 teams in the ACC. Let's make it 7-on-7. Who would you want to bring in for that? A little off topic, but we'll make it quick.
7-on-7 in the ACC.
Right, we need another team on the other side. If it's not Notre Dame, who is it?
Maybe Cincinnati.
Cincinnati? What? They're in Ohio.
And Notre Dame's in Indiana.
Yeah. Notre Dame should be in the Big Ten, but fucking no, not Cincinnati. That's a horrible take. Let's bring in. I think UCF would be a great addition.
They would, but I just don't want to fucking have to hear it, dude. Like, God, could you imagine?
They wouldn't win shit for 20 years. I mean, they'd be okay.
They could. They'd be
all right.
They have Florida recruiting ties.
Yeah, they got recruiting and stuff, but no one wants to go to Orlando. I don't know. The kid from my high school is he's a freshman there. He's a running back there, Johnny Richardson. I know his cousin. I play with his cousin, and he's balling for him. He's really good. Look him up.
Cool. All right, baby. You got anything else to hit on before we log off?
Man, Modelo is fucking good. Let me tell you. That's good stuff.
Never had a Modelo. Go grab you one.
I'm sure I'm the only guy on the planet that's never had one till now. So
probably. I've had so many Modelos.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just never ordered one or no one gave one to me. It's always, our friends. It's either Natty or Skull.
God, Skull. I was talking the other day to my girlfriend about Skull. I was like, straight up. I was like, while I was talking about it, I was just having like flashbacks and like throwing up in my mouth at the same time.
Oh yeah, good old Skull, good old rubbing alcohol.
Yes, sir.
Straight gas.
All right. So we're going live Saturday morning.
I'm down.
What time? Let the people know, Marshall. Let the people know.
It depends on what Marshall wants to do. The other Marshall, the one on the football team.
Okay.
The football team has practice 7 a.m. So if we can do it like maybe 10:30. I told him if he can't do it at 10:30, he can go on Tuesday. So I'm down to go around 10 or 9 or 10.
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
All right. Hello.
Connie. All right. That has been another episode of Tribeoholics. Thank you guys for all tuning in, and cheers.
Cheers.